Welcome back to Regular Guys Outdoors. I'm Chris. We're reshooting this part of the video here in the studio, aka my garage, because when I did it before, it came out pretty blurry, and there's this big thing on my lip, and I don't know what that was. I think I know what the blurriness was, but I'm not sure what that thing is on my lip. I wasn't eating Hershey bars that I know of, so no idea. Let me jump in real quick because I figured out what that thing is on my face. It's actually the way my mustache is growing in. It's just the dark hairs right there. Nice, right? That's how I look in public every day. But anyway, in order to not look like a total idiot, we're reshooting. So, mid-June, I get a text from Brian. He says, hey, next week, let's go do this trail, and he sends me an attachment to an article. So I look at the article, and one part of it said 11 miles, and one part of it said 7 miles. So I saw the 7 miles, and I looked at it on onX, because onX has those trails and everything. So I looked at it, and I was like, yeah, it looks like it's going to be 3.5 out, 3.5 back for 7 miles. I was a little reluctant because I didn't want to hike yet in June, because I normally start hiking around June 1st and getting my feet conditioned and getting my body conditioned to do hikes in the mountains. Well, I wasn't going to do that until July this year, because normally by early to mid-April, I'm kind of getting burned out of beating myself up on the trails and stuff. So I was going to start a little later this year, but seeing it was only 7 miles, and it was just going to go as light as possible. It was just going to take some snacks and water. You know, we're not carrying our gear or anything like that. So I said, okay. So the day came, and I went up to Brian's house. We got in his truck. We went out to the spot to camp, and in the morning we started hiking. So we start hiking up and up and up and up, and we come across our first snowdrift obstacle. Well, looks like people go that way.
Time for some crampons.
You think it's frozen enough?
I think no matter what, they're gonna help.
Oh, it's literally right here. This dirt right there. Oh,
It's slick right there.
that's a big tree.
Why do we do this to ourselves?
Oh, this would be different if we had a little training under our belt.
This is our training. I feel a lot better now than I did when we started. Just sends back 28 more years to go. Just think 28 years ago, you were learning to ride a bike.
We're only at 11,000.
Means we only got
1,500 left, baby.
not bad. I think there's a descent in the middle.
We're two-thirds there elevation-wise.
We just climbed 1,000 feet in like a quarter mile.
Eventually we hit a spot where we had to put on the crampons, and Brian brought an extra set for me because I don't have any.
Not exactly our forte, but anything to get some reps in, right?
The second half of June. And we're dealing with snow. This thing's so packed, it might not melt this year. You push off on a soft spot and down you go.
You see a trail through there?
I don't see a trail up there. We're trying to get up there. We're certainly not going to make the peak with that snow, but we were hoping to maybe get up on the side up there. We're not seeing the obvious trail. Supposedly there's a trail that goes up there. We'll see.
Not a cloud in the sky.
We're at about 11.6 right now. The peak is 12.8. So we continue on. Brian snaps a couple of pics of me here. Then we noticed the hiker was down below and gaining ground on us. 11.9. Man, she's killing it.
Yeah.
She's gonna pass us.
Maybe she has some sunscreen though.
Maybe she has sunscreen, yeah. Yeah, this next chunk, man. Steep, steep. Somewhere on this steep spot, she passes us by, and Brian and I continue going uphill. 12.2. Some critter's been up here. It's probably the Rocky Mountain goat. I got to one of the last peaks before the summit and I spotted her again, so I broke out my camera and got a couple of pics of her. And she confirms what we were kind of thinking, and that snow at the very top is going to prevent us from hitting the summit proper. So then Brian crests the hill right here in front of me. And we're going to take a quick break right here. Enjoy the view. So we continue on. We don't have a whole lot left to go. It's just going to get a little rugged and a little steep. Long way down to I-70 down there. So I get up to the top a few minutes before Brian, and I apologize to the young lady for having all these millions of acres, and here we are within the same 20 square feet. But in my defense, we didn't really have anywhere else to go because the trail is on the top of kind of a spine ridge right here. Here's a couple of stills of Brian creeping up the last spot and the young lady heading back down. And victory was ours. And while we're up there, Brian noticed the Rocky Mountain goats down below us. So I got a snapshot of them right here. Then I tried to get some video. I apologize for the quirky, shaky video here. It's the best I could do in the editing software to make it still, but this is what it looks like when you don't turn on your camera's image stabilization or the lens stabe. Back to the software stabilization here. So that was really neat seeing the Rocky Mountain goats, and we dropped off of that spot, got down into a little bit of shade, had our snacks, and then we continued down. And it was bad. Real bad. trekking poles would have come in handy for this steep, loose stuff. Ooh. No, 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 no. No, not that way. Back up. Oh. Where did we go? Did we go?
This is where we talked about doing the crampons. So we were like, oh, it's just that.
Oh, okay. And I'm afraid that's all the video I got right here, because at this point my feet were really starting to hurt, and then my thighs were getting wrecked going downhill, because like I said, I have 0 hikes under my belt at this point. So all I wanted to do was get down off of that mountain. I spent the next 3 or 4 days at home in pain every time I went down my stairs. Hope you liked this video. If you did, give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button down there, and as always, thanks for watching.